Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again to the Flourish Culture Podcast. My name is Jeremy. Thank you so very much for spending some time with me today on this Monday morning, the Monday Mindset Check episode. And so this will be a little bit of an interesting episode. I had something in mind, a direction I was going to go, and that kind of got shifted around a little bit just to give you a little backstory on what I'm talking about. So this Saturday morning when I'm recording this, I had a Zoom meeting scheduled for my department, some people that just just trying to kind of get an underground movement going and trying to share some positivity, share some inspiration amongst, whoever wants to be involved. And I had some notes for that, and I had one come on and just so me and the other person just kind of had a conversation with whatever came up, and didn't really get to go into my notes, obviously. So I feel like this is basically going to be something I record for those crew members. And I, I thought to myself, I'll record it and I'll put it out to them. And then at the same time, it's like, well, why don't I just record it and I'll kind of make it the Monday mindset check, and that'll make it even easier for them to get a hold of. So for all my EFD brothers out there that didn't make it to the Zoom meeting, I missed you. Look forward to hopefully having a little bit better of a turnout next time. I appreciate my brother that was on there with me and his time. But you know, I would like to have a conversation about this. It's not going to be near as fluid and beneficial, I'm sure, since it's just me kind of talking, because it's going to be a lot of kind of self-reflection and personal conversation to do with this topic, but it's the best I can do. And so it'll it'll be helpful, hopefully, to others around the nation, or wherever you're listening to the podcast, to kind of maybe put some words to some ideas that you have personally as well. And so with that, as confusing as I probably just made that, we'll get into it. But really what I was going to talk about is one of my favorite topics: culture. I just love the topic of fire service culture. And culture is so it's difficult to pinpoint. I looked up, just doing a 15 minutes of research before the meeting, trying to kind of lay out what I was going to talk about. And you get online and look up the meaning of culture, and gosh, it's there's so much there, and it's literally nothing that I would define culture as. You culture can be used in so many different ways and so many different aspects of life. I mean, you got bacterial culture, and it's just it's crazy. And I literally did not see anything in that definition that I would personally describe culture as. And so that's kind of where I was going to start, is ask everybody, what does culture mean to you? What does that word look like? What does that word really mean to you as far as the fire service goes? And so, you know, to me personally, since I don't have discussion coming back, it's basically going to be me. And but to me, it's just the way of life. What does what does your daily firehouse life look like? Are you at a firehouse that runs nonstop? You From the time you get there to the time you leave, you're running calls, and you basically don't have much time for anything else. That's that's basically your culture. You squeeze in whatever you could squeeze in between, but you just don't have a lot of time for anything else. Are you at a station that is basically checked out, on a crew that is checked out? You don't have a lot of buy-in on training. You don't have a lot of buy-in on kind of learning anything, or whatever. If something comes up out of the ordinary, say you got a SCBA drill that the training division is pushing down, what's the response when that comes out? Is it 3/4 of the people griping and rolling their eyes and huffing around and having a bad attitude? Is it everybody? That is the culture. That is the culture of that crew. Or you on a crew that does their best to approach every situation with a positive attitude. This whole COVID thing, it has been a true test of mental positivity. If you have allowed this whole situation to be negative, it has absolutely been a negative for you, because you have had to work to stay positive right now. For anybody out there that has stayed positive, has kind of kept the negativity and just the life suckingness of this situation, I applaud you and I respect what you're doing, because it's been hard. I've been pretty honest about that several times. I have struggled quite a bit with kind of trying to keep my positivity, kind of trying to keep my drive going and all that. And so if you're somebody that hasn't really struggled with that, that's impressive. It's truly impressive. If you are somebody that struggled with it, then know that you're not alone. We are dealing with the same things. It may be different variances of the same things. It may be different levels of the same things, but we are all dealing with the same stuff. And that is the true benefit of these podcasts, not just mine, of all these different fire service related podcasts. This is the true benefit of social media. And I've been pretty vocal about how much I truly believe social media is a good thing. I think if you allow it to be a good thing, you're so much good that can come from social media. So many great, solid people that I have met virtually, with quotation marks, over social media, because of putting myself out there, that I would have never met, and stories that I would have never learned about, and all these different people that have experienced the exact same thing that I am, and all that gives me. It's truly amazing how much it has helped me and helped my story and helped my message. And I would not have any of that if it weren't for social media. I would be a disgruntled person who wanted to do good things, was not allowed to do good things. And so I let that resentment build into the point of anger and just bad attitude, and probably shooting out hateful emails and probably getting in trouble and all kinds of stuff. That's where I would be if I didn't seek out other options, if I didn't seek out other avenues, other platforms to get that out. I truly want to do good things, and if I'm not allowed to do good things somewhere, then I'm gonna go somewhere else and find a different place to do it. And so social media has been that somewhere else. And so, you know, I I I truly think that culture is one of the hardest things to try to work with, to try to change, especially. I I like I said, I love culture. I love talking about culture and getting into discussions about it. It's probably one of the biggest areas that I'm passionate about, but it's one of the biggest areas of frustration in my life because, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand with tradition. You know, tradition is great. I don't ever want to take away tradition from the fire service. But at the same time, are those traditions beneficial? Are those traditions so outdated that we're harming ourselves and our citizens because we want to hang on to those instead of finding better ways of doing things? And so that's kind of where, you know, like I said, I think it ties completely together with culture. If you are at a station on a crew that the culture is just complete laziness and just the term is escaping me now. I just said it, but if you are somebody that is just burned out on a crew that's burned out, your citizens aren't getting the help that they could be, as opposed to a crew that is bought in and driven and passionate about their job. It's just not the case. And so that, you know, a long way around was just me saying or asking you the first question of this idea is, what does culture look like to you? What does it mean to you? And so, you know, that's for me. Like I said, I know I rabbit holed the crap out of that, but to me, it's just the way of life. And and so to dig even deeper is, you know, when you have a true culture, that's the way things work every day, no matter if the leadership is off or if one of your senior people is off. It doesn't matter who is there, it doesn't matter what pieces are gone or there. That's the way of life. So if you think you have a culture change and you think you have exactly everything like it should be, and you take off work and everything goes back to the way it was before you thought you had it all figured out, that's not a culture change. It's you're doing good things, but a true culture change means that things go the same, things are the same no matter who's there. And so that, man, that's a difficult thing, because I feel like, just personally, I feel like I have made a lot of progress towards a culture shift. I've taken a lot of steps to get there, but to truly have a culture change like that, to where, you know, no matter what the day looks like, no matter who's there, who's gone, that's how things are run. I'm a long way away from that. And so it's a long, difficult process, and it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of just soul searching, character, you know, testing work. And so if it's something that you truly want, if it's something that sounds good to you, just be prepared to put a lot into it. Be prepared to be tested. Be prepared to have people talk about you negatively and all that, because it's coming. But I truly feel like it's worth it, and I will continue to fight that fight. So that was the first question. What does culture look like to you? And these, like I said, these were meant for a discussion between me and some other people. So it's a little bit awkward, but I want you at home, in the car, wherever you're at, to be thinking about this. You know, if you need to push pause and truly sit and spend some time thinking about these questions, then that's good. Write them down, because in the end, it's going to help really put words to the ideas and the thoughts you have in your head with these things. And so that was number one. Number two is, what is your vision of a perfect or a great culture? So in other words, what does the culture that you want to create look like? If you could just write out a vision of what the culture at your station was, what is it? I think that's an important thing, just like you hear people talk about a lot of, write down your goals, write down your vision, put words to it. Because if you don't put words to it, if you don't write them down, if you can't physically see them, then it's a lot harder to truly know how to do it. And so I think that's a good practice of, sitting down. Just, what does a day look like in your ideal firehouse? Does it look like, hey, we come in, we check our stuff out, we eat, we talk about the plans for the day, and we get those done, and then we're done? Is it basically the things that have to be done and nothing else? Is it, I want to put in 4 hours of good solid training? Is it, I want 1 hour of training, I want 1 hour of reading, I want 1 hour of working out, which I've heard a lot? Is it, we're going to run calls most of the day, and so wherever we can squeeze in a little bit of time to work out, or a little, whatever it is. And there are millions of different answers to that question. As many people that sit and think about it, there is that many different answers. So I'm not even going to try to pretend like I know the right answer to that, because my answer is not going to be the complete, true, exact answer as really anybody else's. I've got some people in my crew that would probably be pretty close to what my answer looks like, and I've got some people on my crew that would be very drastically different. And so, that's fine. And this is a question of, obviously, more of a station officer, chief officer type question, because yeah, you can have these things in mind below that, but you can't really truly affect those changes until you're in those positions. You can have some informal input, have some informal change that you're a part of, but to truly impact this, you need that, official role. But me saying that, please don't let that deter you to do this if you are a firefighter, if you are a driver, if you are, anything below, because that's what I have done. These are things that I have been thinking about and writing down for years and years before I was ever an officer. I wrote out, when I was a driver, just starting to kind of think about becoming an officer, ideas started pouring out of me. And so I started writing them down, and it started out as just things that I wanted to remember when I became an officer, things that I wanted to make sure didn't change in how I went about my day. And it started out, like I said, as just one page, basically bullet points. And, I haven't really touched it in years, but it is now about a 32-page document of just digging into those bullet points and adding more bullet points, and just really discussing deeper what all that means to me. And so, I think it's very important to sit down and put words to all these things at an early age of your career, to learn from the bad officers, to learn from the good officers, and to write this stuff down so that you remember it, so that you have it to look at, and it's just good. And so when I said that earlier, I felt a little bad. As I was basically talking about, needing to be an officer to affect change. I did not want to kind of make it sound like if you're anything below an officer, this isn't something for you, because it is. It truly is. And so, those are the two big questions. And I'm kind of surpassing the Monday mindset time frame here, but that's really the meat of the conversation. And like I said, these are self-reflection type questions that you really need to think about, because everybody's going to be different. And maybe this is a good conversation between your crew at breakfast or dinner. Sit down and you know bounce ideas off of each other, what everybody truly personally thinks about this. And if you hear something from somebody and like, well, that sounds really good and I didn't think about it, and you can kind of tweak it a little bit and add it to your own vision. And so, I hope these are good questions that kind of make you think, kind of give you a direction to start the week with, to start writing some things out, and find some areas that you can maybe start a little bit of a change. Something I want to add in to this, that I was going to add in with that conversation, is, so I put a post out last week on our daily training schedule. And this is something that is a very tricky, touchy document, because it involves training every day, which means weekends. And with my particular department, that is not part of the culture. That is the exact opposite part of the culture. Our culture is that you don't touch our weekends, period. You can schedule training during the week, and we'll do what we have to do. But if you put something on the training schedule for the weekend, there is going to be a fight. And so, bringing that mindset into my organization is not ideal. But I would say this: it's not because I feel the need to keep my crew busy. It's not that I feel the need to wear my crew out. Training every day is a tool. It is a means to get to the culture shift that I want to get to. My culture, the culture in my head, is a culture that we learn something every day. We grow even a little bit every day. If we grow 1%, if we learn 1% every day, that's all I ask. I don't ask 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours of training. I just ask for, give me an hour, give me 45 minutes, give me 2 hours at the. I think 2 hours is basically the most I've ever really done personal training with my crew. That's it. If it's a weekend, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. If it's a Sunday, let's listen to a 30-minute podcast that is a good, solid podcast that we can learn from, or we can have a 30-minute sub conversation about it. That's not a lot. And I know, if you just follow social media, it may look like that's all we do is train. And I don't want that to be perceived that way, because it's not. We put an hour in to training, and that's it. And I'm happy with that. I feel like I can learn. I feel like I can grow through a good, solid hour of training. And so, that I just wanted to say that is, I'm not doing weekend training because I'm somebody that likes to keep my crew busy. It's just not the case. It's just a means to get to the culture that I want to get to. And so, and really it's a personal thing. I want to learn every day. I want to grow every day. So to do that, you've got to do something. So that's a way to do that. And hopefully the two will kind of, the paths will merge at some point of where I want to go and where we're going and all that. So I just wanted to say that, I put that out on social media, and it was truly amazing, the response to it. I honestly have no idea, but I know it was well over 100 emails of that document out. People wanting to see it, people wanting to get their hands on it, and that was just people wanting the Word document of it. It was viewed almost 35,000 times, and so that just means to me that there are a lot of people out there wanting to make a change, wanting to do good, wanting to create a culture of growth. And so it really, it was humbling. It was refreshing, I guess is another way to put it. And so I really, I, it's hard. It's going to be a hard fight to fight. And, but like I said, it's going to be something that is so worth it in the end. I say end. I don't really think there's ever an end. It's going to be something that is very worth it each kind of step closer that you take. So anyway, I hope that you're okay with me spending a little bit more time on this mindset check than I usually do. Like I said, I I wanted to put this out to a certain group of individuals, and it didn't work out. So I feel like this is kind of the next best thing, and hopefully at the same time it helps others out there that aren't in that group. Hopefully it helps others across the nation or wherever that you're listening to really pinpoint areas that you want to change, pinpoint areas that you want to really focus on and get after it. That's the biggest step, is getting after it and just surviving the process. Just keep fighting the fight, keep doing good things, keep taking step forward. You are going to get pushed back. You are going to get knocked down. You are going to get talked about. But if it's something you truly want, if it's something that you truly think is the right thing, if it's something that is truly going to help the fire service, your department, or your crew, or yourself, then it's a fight that you have got to fight. And it's a fight that you need to fight. So I will leave you with that. I hope you take some time to go over those things and to lay out what those things look like to you. I hope that they kind of give you a little bit of direction this week to focus, and I hope you have a good week. I hope that things go well with you. I've got another good guest coming on. I'm going to record something Tuesday and we'll have it out Thursday, and really looking forward to that. We'll have, I hope that I'm kind of lining up some guests here successively, because I feel like so much more comes out of that than just me talking. And so I will, in your best interest as listeners, will try to keep that up. I've been very blessed that the guests I've had in the past, some solid people, some people that have made serious impacts on my life. And so I'm just excited for the future. If you haven't heard, I did a episode with Corley Moore on the weekly scrap through Firehouse Vigilance. So I'm not sure when he's actually going to release that, but keep an eye out for that. That was a fun conversation. Hopefully you can get some good out of that, at least, spend a little time enjoying the conversation. And so look for that if you didn't know about it. Other than that, Want to say thank you to Woods Force Wintry for being a sponsor to the program. I appreciate those guys. Solid guys. I can't say enough about them. But again, have a great week. Look forward to talking again on Thursday. And until then, stay safe and take care of each other. Thank you.